Hello everyone and welcome back. Normally I would do this voice for the entire video, but we're not going to be doing that now. I hope those fans of Force of Will and the initiates of the Endoralis Nation, well, / temple, have tuned in to see the last little bit of this video. Now, this particular video was the promised one where I would just tell you usually how much I got over this time, and it was about 283 cards, which was about the number you should get. They give you a promotion at each pre-release, so I got 3 of those, and those were Tamia, the Familiar of the Holy Wind, which is right there, and along with that, each time you opened the pack, you were guaranteed 2 foils and generally one at least rare, I think. The foil will be your first card and then the last card. So every pack you're going to open up is going to be a foil on the front and a foil on the back. So you feel surprised and happy that you have 2 foils. Sometimes the other foil will be a, well, the best way to say it will be a like common or a stone. And I got quite a few of those. Below I have the entire list of every single card I got in number from rares, non-rares, and everything in alphabetical order. Each one separate into types, and then the stones separate at the end. I was actually lucky enough to, over the course of 3 pre-releases, get 7 special stones, and I think I have those up now. If I don't, you'll see. So I would like to tell you that some of the odd and cool things I noticed this particular cluster. They have a lot, and I mean a lot, of J-Ruler / ruler destruction and shutdown. There is so much to just make a ruler not useful. I almost feel as though they originally had this set out to counter and just destroy Refrain, well, at least as far as usefulness at all, but then they went ahead and banned it. Well, so they just nipped that in the bud. But if Refrain had been around during this time, everyone ever would just run Shackles of Ice, or Frozen Shackles. I can't remember the exact name. I'll put that up. But everyone would run it, and then everyone would have to worry about everyone running that card, because the card is so good. What it effectively does is it makes it where both sides cannot use their activated abilities. So Refrain would just not function. It would have no abilities. In the draft, it was especially powerful for the fact that anyone who didn't have a ruler was already kind of out of an advantage, because they needed to get that extra stone from magical clockwork. Well, this would make it where when you tap for mana, the clockwork wouldn't work. And if you had anyone like Zero or Mars or whatever, and they existed on the side, if you ever wanted to use their abilities, you would pay to bestow it to their opponent, judgment your creature, or use their abilities, and then they wouldn't have anything to do. In this game, they also increased a amount of a card called Bestow. It's a Bestow effect, which means you pay for like an addition, and then you equip to them, much like in Magic, where you have equip artifacts and cards like that. I also noticed a particular combination with this one called Mark of Pandora's Hope, I believe it was called. And what that card did was when the bestowed creature died, you got 1d6 times 2 life points back, which is huge because you can bestow more than one to one opponent. I believe that was an uncommon, a very good uncommon. Force is going to be a ridiculous thing this cluster. Force is going to effectively be I would say, is either going to be really, really good, or is going to be really, really terrible, because people are going to have counters for it. But effectively what's going to happen is Force is going to be this thing where you roll a d6, and then just the chances of that d6 applies to your attacks. There is a spell / chant called Dreams of Flight, and Dreams of Flight has a fly, it's both a fly and a remnant, so you can flash it. It's a quick cast, so you can do it in between attacks, and it gives your creatures flying and 1d6 more attack and defense. So if you have a creature like Pandora, who makes it where anytime you roll for Force, you roll another dice, that turns from 1d6 to 2d6. That's an average of 7. You can make a small little 2-4 bunny suddenly become a 9, you know, a 9-13 or 9-11. Oh, sorry, didn't try to do that. But a, you know, a bigger creature that suddenly flies, and as long as you do it before they decide to block you, you can just fly over them and hit them for almost a fourth of their HP on average. That's just amazing. Another thing that seems to be very present here is that the spell Eternal Recurrence, which makes it where they had it where you can just wipe the field. Now, I don't remember there being field wiping quite that way, and it costs quite a lot. I think it costs like 5 will, but it's a spell slash chant that just wipes the field. It clears the field, everything's gone. It's like a non-targeted version of what Yogg Sagat does when he comes in. You pay for counters, and he just starts wiping the field with whatever amount of counters he has left on him to everyone else. So yeah, he's a really this seems to be all about giving every side their real power. There's finally Burn with combination of Mars, his support card, Red Boy, and all that. His the familiar. You can pretty much burn unlike any other cluster. It is amazing. I love it. But there's 2 things I do want to point out that came out. There's one of them. It makes it where everyone goes away, and I can't remember the name, but I'll put it up here. Makes it where everything goes back to your hand, and if you pay the awakening cost, which with Charlotte you can easily do with the combination there, if you pay the awakening cost, then you get 3 blue resonators of your choice out on the field after you wipe the field. So you can wipe the field, throw them out, and if you find a way to give them swiftness, you can just have them attack inside your side and just OTK somebody because they lose everything and you gain everything. There also is Charlotte's water transformation magic, which is a remnant quick cast that also makes it where when you cast it, it turns them into a 4/4 bear with no abilities. And the 4/4 bear part is nothing, but it's the no ability part that makes it really crazy, because then it makes it where the creature who's like a creature of chaos, the Cthulhu, doesn't have death touch effectively. They don't have any of their activated abilities. You can use it in response to them about to use their activated abilities. It's so good that I think this entire time we're gonna just have water. Everyone's gonna splash water at least once or twice, even if they have it on a dual stone. Why? Because water is gonna be really, really good to have. I myself got 2 red water stones, which I use to splash red and water, fire and water in my other deck, so I can cast those spells when people aren't expecting it. So I think this entire time, I got almost 50 rares, almost 10 super rares. I got all the rulers. They're only rares. It's still really hard to get, and quite a few uncommons. Now there is 2 things I need to point out that isn't all that great as far as like rarity, but they're really good. Besides Dreams of Fly, of course. It is Oni Governor, who is a 5-drop for 1 black, 1 darkness, and 5 colorless, who can toss a lower resonator to destroy a resonator of 3 cost or lower. Now that's particularly good because it allows you to target ones that normally can't be targeted. And there's a lot of creatures slash resonators in this game that can be targeted, and there's so many combinations that work with this thing still existing, even though you can't hurt it for damage. You can just kill it. So in those bunny decks or those beast decks where they have that annoying little squirrel, and I can't remember its name, that you can just kill that squirrel off and then keep going, just rush through the entire group. Another one is, well, while she's a rare, the card she uses is an uncommon, and her name is Princess of the Dragon Palace, Otohime. And what she does is she's a black card that gives the ability to make it where when people die on your opponent's side of the field, when resonators die, they pop, so they just get removed from play. It's awesome. And she also has the ability to tap, and you can bestow a card called the Black Treasure Box onto the enemy. And what Black Treasure Box does, and when you're beginning your turn comes back up, they die and the card dies. So if you use the card out, have it out early, have her out, on your turn you can effectively attach it to you can effectively have her out, and then when their turn comes up, you can attach it to them, so when your turn comes back up, they die. So if they drop something really annoying, they die. I guess the other one is that Glorious. Glorious is ridiculous, and Glorious is one of the few ways of killing Zero. Considering Zero can't take any damage from battle damage, and you can only really do it to other people. Glorious is basically the equalizer to all J rulers that pretty much has come out this time. Anytime you do damage, Glorious is a quick cast who kills the J resonator that did damage that turn. And that's going to be one of the few ways you can even kill Zero. So it's an amazing card, and it's, of course, I think a rare / super rare. And it is, if you can get like at least 2 or 3 of them in your deck, you can, do it. But if you can't, there's no problem having even one. He's good to have either if you're gonna quick cast him in for a block, or you quick cast him in for killing the J resonator, any J resonator off. You let the damage go through, pop the big one. You block with a chump creature, block the big one. You kill off any big creature you just don't want to deal with. You can kill a red boy. Red boy comes in, pops people, boom, dead red boy. So I hope you all enjoyed this time. I see all the cards below. If you happen to be in the Kalamazoo area, I'm happy to trade with you if whatever you need. But other than that, I enjoyed the pre-release, and we might have more videos on Force of Will. How-to is going to come up. I swear, the how-to is very much going to come up. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed your time, and may the Zen be with you.